Seminyak or Canggu? Wrong question. The real question is, do you want to spend $3,000 extra to sit in traffic next to a bulldozer? Or do you want to actually enjoy Bali? Because based on current booking data heading into the 2025 season, one of these places is a straight-up rip-off for Australians. And I'm about to show you the math that the travel influencers are hiding from you. And stick around, because at the end of this video, I'm going to show you a villa booking scam that's specifically targeting Australians right now. It's cost people thousands, and Airbnb won't refund you. You need to know about this before you book anything. Look, I get it. You've seen the Instagram reels. Canggu looks like paradise. Infinity pools, rice paddies, that digital nomad vibe. Those perfectly filtered sunsets. The cool cafes with the aesthetic everyone's chasing. But here's what those influencers aren't telling you while they're getting comped stays and paid partnerships. Peak season, December through February, the exact time you're trying to escape Australian summer. The price gap between these two areas is now completely insane. We're talking about a difference that could pay for your flights. And the traffic? It's not just bad. It's actively getting worse because of something the Indonesian government just did that's created absolute chaos on the ground right now. So let me break down what you're actually paying for in 2025 because the numbers are going to shock you. And more importantly, I'm going to show you where your money actually gets you value and where you're just burning cash to say you stayed in the trendy area. The traffic nightmare, 1:30 to 4:30. Tishan. First, let's talk about the traffic situation. And I'm not talking about, oh, it's a bit busy traffic. I'm talking about the kind of traffic where a 5-kilometre trip takes 45 minutes, where you watch the sun set while you're still trying to get to dinner, where your Grab driver cancels on you because they know the route isn't worth it. Based on current 2025 season data, and I've verified this with multiple drivers and locals on the ground, here's what you're actually dealing with. Canggu to Seminyak Beach, morning 8 to 11 a.m. 35 to 50 minutes. Afternoon, 3 to 7 p.m., 45 to 70 minutes. Distance, 5.2 kilometers. Let that sink in. 5 kilometers. That's walking speed. Actually, scratch that. You could legitimately walk it faster, and some people actually do now. For context, that's like driving from Bondi to Coogee and having it take an hour. Except you're doing this every single day of your holiday because everything you want to do is spread out. Now there's this route locals call the shortcut, the back way through the rice paddies connecting Canggu to Seminyak. Sounds great, right? Scenic route, avoid the main road chaos. Except the locals have another name for it now. They call it the parking lot. And here's the 2025 twist that nobody's talking about. The Indonesian government is currently frantically widening these roads to fix the chaos. On paper, noble idea. Improve infrastructure, reduce congestion. But the result right now, in real time, you're not just stuck in traffic anymore. You're stuck in traffic next to excavators, bulldozers, and massive dust clouds. The road is literally half closed in sections while they work. Multiple locals I've spoken to, people who've lived there for 5-10 years, say it's actually worse now than it was 2 years ago. One villa owner told me, quote, "I used to do the Canggu Seminyak run in 20 minutes off peak. Now, even at 6 a.m., I'm looking at 35 minutes minimum because of the roadworks." And this isn't temporary. The construction projects that are already approved are still being built throughout 2025, even though there's now a government moratorium on new developments, which I'll explain in detail later because it's wild. We're talking about the final construction rush before the full crackdown kicks in. Peak chaos. Maximum disruption. So when you're planning your daily movements, beach clubs, restaurants, beach access, shopping, you need to factor in this time. Because it adds up fast. Let me give you a real-world example. Say you're staying in Canggu and you want to hit Potato Head Beach Club in Seminyak for sunset. Sounds perfect, right? You leave at 4:30 p.m. to get there for 6 p.m. sunset. 45 minutes in traffic. 5:15 p.m. arrival. Spend 2 hours there. Leave at 8 p.m. 70 minutes back in evening traffic. Arrive back at 9:30 p.m. You've just spent 2 hours, 2 hours of your holiday sitting in a car for what should be a 10-minute drive. That's 4 hours if you're doing a round trip anywhere outside Canggu daily. Over 2 weeks, that's 56 hours in traffic. That's more than 2 full days of your holiday gone. All right, let's talk money. Australian dollars, because that's what actually matters to you. I'm going to compare the same quality accommodation, 3-bedroom private villa with pool, decent location in each area, not a dump, not ultra luxury. The kind of place most Australian families or groups of friends actually book. Canggu, peak season, December to February 2025. Canggu pricing, off-peak, April, June, September, October. 250 to 350 AUD per night. Peak season, December to February. 450 to 600 AUD per night. That's a 40 to 50% markup, which is aggressive. For a 2-week stay in January 2025, you're looking at 6,300 to 8,400 Australian dollars just for accommodation. That's before you've bought a single bintang. Seminyak, peak season. Now, Seminyak, same quality villa, same amenities. Off-peak, 280 to 400 AUD per night peak season. 420 to 550 AUD per night. Markup, 30 to 35%. Noticeably less aggressive 2-week stay. 5,800 to 7,700 AUD. The difference? You're saving 500 to 700 Australian dollars just on accommodation by choosing Seminyak. That's not nothing. That's your spending money. That's massages, nice dinners, day trips. But here's where it gets interesting, and where Canggu really starts to hurt your wallet. Because Canggu is so spread out and the traffic is so bad, you're forced into taking way more Grab or Gojek rides. Everything is too far to walk, and the infrastructure, sidewalks, pedestrian safety, it's just not there. Transport costs. Comparison, Canggu. Daily transport, 15 to 25 AUD per day, averaging 3 to 4 trips. Breakfast spot, beach, dinner, maybe a beach club. Seminyak, daily transport, 8 to 12 AUD per day. Most things are walkable. You're mainly using transport for longer trips. Over 2 weeks, that's an extra 140 to 250 Australian dollars just on getting around. Or, option 2, you rent a scooter. Sounds cheap, right? 70 to 90 AUD per week. Except now you're the one sitting in that traffic for 45 minutes. In the heat. In the exhaust fumes. Dodging potholes and construction zones. You're on holiday. Do you really want to be doing that twice a day? And let's be honest, how many Australians are actually confident navigating Bali traffic on a scooter? It's chaotic, it's aggressive, and if you're not experienced, it's genuinely dangerous. Beach club. Reality check. Then there's the beach clubs. This is supposed to be Canggu's big selling point, right? Fins, La Brisa, The Lawn, all those Instagram spots. Here's what they don't tell you in those sponsored posts. Peak season minimum spends per person, 2025. Fins Beach Club, 80 to 120 AUD, sunbed minimum. Potato Head, 70 to 100 AUD. La Brisa, 60 to 80 AUD. The Lawn, 60 to 90 AUD. And those minimums? They've gone up 30 to 35% compared to late 2023. Inflation, demand, whatever you want to call it, it's significantly more expensive. For a couple, you're spending 160 to 240 AUD just to sit by a pool for an afternoon. And that's your minimum. Most people spend more once they're there and start ordering cocktails and food. Do that 3 times during your 2-week trip, which is pretty standard if you're chasing that beach club vibe, and you're up another $500 to $700. Meanwhile, Seminyak has beach clubs too, Coup d'etat, Mississippi, Cocoon, with similar pricing and similar vibes. Except you can walk there in 10 to 15 minutes instead of sitting in traffic for an hour each way. You're getting the same experience without the hidden time and transport costs. Food and dining costs. Here's something else people don't factor in. Canggu's dining scene, while good, is more spread out. You're paying for Grab to get to dinner most nights because walking isn't realistic. Seminyak, you've got literally hundreds of restaurants within a 1 to 2 kilometre radius. You can walk to everything: Motel Mexicola, Meraputi, Mamasan, all the top spots, without spending a cent on transport. Over 2 weeks, that's another 100 to 200 AUD saved on food-related transport alone. Now here's the part that's going to make you seriously reconsider that Canggu villa booking you've got saved on Airbnb. The construction. Moratorium. In late 2024, the Indonesian government, specifically coordinated by Minister Luhut Panjaitan, who's basically Jokowi's right-hand man, announced a construction moratorium across South Bali. That includes Seminyak, Canggu, Uluwatu, all the tourist hotspots. The goal? Stop the absolute chaos. No new hotels, no new villas, no new nightclubs. They're trying to get control over infrastructure, water, sewage, roads, before it completely collapses. This was huge news in Indonesia, but it didn't really make waves in Australian media. But, and this is the critical part that affects your 2025 holiday, projects that were already approved before the announcement are still being built. They have permission. They're not stopping. What does that mean for you in 2025 as a tourist? It means you're dealing with the final construction rush. Developers are frantically trying to finish projects before full enforcement kicks in and regulations get even tighter. They're working overtime, literally, to complete everything they can. Translation: noise pollution is at an all-time high. Jackhammers starting at 7 a.m., sometimes 6:30. Concrete trucks rumbling past. Dust clouds if you're anywhere near active construction, which in Canggu, you probably are. This is happening right now, throughout 2025. It's not stopping until these approved projects are done, which could be mid to late 2026 based on current timelines. One Australian couple I spoke to who stayed in Canggu in January 2025 said, and I'm quoting, "We paid $520 a night for a villa, and we were woken up by construction noise every single morning by 7 a.m. The villa host said there was nothing they could do because it's legal construction hours. Ruined the first half of our trip." That's the reality right now. The water problem, second major issue, and this one's even more serious: water supply. Canggu's rice paddies, the ones in all those dreamy photos, the ones that made you want to go there in the first place, are drying up. And it's because of overdevelopment. The local water table can't keep up with the demand from hundreds of villas, all running pools, showers, washing machines, gardens. The infrastructure was never designed for this level of tourism and development. There are now regular water shortages during peak season. Some villas are on water rationing. I've seen multiple reviews from early 2025 where guests reported low water pressure or being asked to limit shower times. Imagine you're paying 600 AUD a night for a luxury villa, and you're taking 30-second showers because the water supply can't handle it. Absolute nightmare. The Bali government is working on solutions: bigger reservoirs, better distribution systems, but that takes years. Right now, in 2025, you're potentially dealing with water issues if you're in the newer, more developed parts of Canggu. Seminyak, by contrast, has more established infrastructure. It's been developed for longer, the water systems are more robust, and you're way less likely to run into these issues. The overcrowding issue. Third thing, Canggu is now genuinely overcrowded during peak season in a way it wasn't even 3 years ago. The beaches, Echo Beach, Batu Bolong, are packed. I'm talking Bondi on a 40-degree day packed. You're fighting for space. The water's full of surfers and swimmers, and the laid-back vibe everyone talks about is just gone. The cafes have hour-long waits for brunch. The co-working spaces are fully booked. Even the rice paddy walks are crowded with people taking photos. Seminyak is busy too, don't get me wrong. But it's a different kind of busy. It's more spread out, more infrastructure to handle it, and you're not dealing with the everything's bursting at the seams feeling that Canggu has right now. So what should you actually do? 1530 has 19 douane. All right, so after all that, the traffic, the costs, the construction, the water issues, here's my actual recommendation for Australians heading to Bali in 2025. Choose Seminyak. If you want walkability, everything within 1 to 2 kilometres. You can walk to the beach, restaurants, shopping, beach clubs, all without needing transport every single time. You value time over Instagram clout. You're not willing to sit in traffic for 3 hours a day just to say you stayed in Canggu. You want established infrastructure, fewer water issues, better roads, more reliable utilities, less active construction chaos. You prefer proximity to the airport. Seminyak is 25 to 35 minutes from Ngurah Airport in normal traffic. Canggu is 50 to 75 minutes, sometimes more if you hit it wrong. You want dining variety. Seminyak legitimately has 3 times as many quality restaurants within walking distance. You've got every cuisine, every price point, all easily accessible. You're traveling with older family members or young kids. The walkability and convenience factor is massive when you're not traveling solo or as a couple. You want nightlife options. Seminyak's bar and club scene is more developed, more diverse, and easier to navigate without being stuck in traffic until 2 a.m. trying to get home. Choose Canggu if you're staying for a month plus and can afford to settle in. If you're there long term, the traffic becomes routine. You figure out the off-peak times and you're not trying to pack everything into 2 weeks. You're genuinely into surfing. Canggu's waves are better for learners and intermediates, that's undeniable. Echo Beach, Old Man's, Batu Bolong, the surf scene is the real deal. You work remotely and literally won't be leaving your villa much. If you're doing the digital nomad thing and working 8 hours a day, then hitting the local warong for dinner, Canggu makes sense. You're not dealing with the transport issues as much. You're specifically chasing the Canggu vibe and community. If you want the co-working spaces, the wellness scene, the specific expat/nomad community that's built up there, that's valid. Just know what you're paying for it. You're okay with the fact that Bali Bliss might now sound like a jackhammer symphony at 7 a.m. If you're a heavy sleeper or you're staying in a quieter pocket of Canggu, they exist. You might avoid the worst of it. The verdict. Look, 5 years ago, this would have been a completely different conversation. Canggu was genuinely the cooler, cheaper, less touristy, more authentic option. It was the insider pick. But entering the 2025 season, the dynamics have completely changed. The price gap has basically disappeared for Australians. In some cases, Canggu is actually more expensive now. The traffic has become legitimately unbearable and is actively getting worse. You're dealing with peak construction chaos that's not ending anytime soon. The infrastructure issues, water, roads, overcrowding, are real and impacting the quality of your stay. For the same money, or often less, Seminyak gives you back your time. And when you're only in Bali for 2 weeks and you've spent $2,000 on flights from Australia, your time is the most valuable thing you have. That $3,000 total premium to stay in Canggu when you factor in accommodation, transport, and hidden costs? It's not worth it anymore. Simple as that. You're paying more to have a worse experience purely for the sake of saying you stayed in the cool area. And that doesn't make sense. Now, before we wrap up, let me give you a few rapid-fire bonus tips that'll save you even more money and hassle. Booking timing. Book your villa at least 3 months out for peak season. Prices go up 30 to 40% if you're booking inside of 6 weeks from your arrival date. The best deals are locked in early. Airport transfers. Pre-book your airport transfer through your villa or a reputable company. Don't just grab a random taxi at the airport, you'll pay double. A pre-booked transfer should be 25 to 35 AUD to Seminyak, 40 to 50 to Canggu. SIM cards. Get a local SIM immediately at the airport. Telkomsel is the most reliable. You need data for Grab, Google Maps, restaurant bookings. It's essential. 20 to 30 AUD for 2 weeks of unlimited data. Money. Use ATMs. Don't exchange at the airport. You'll get a way better rate. Pull out larger amounts to minimize ATM fees. Most machines have a 2.5 to 3.5 AUD fee per transaction. Grab vs Gojek. Both are fine, but Grab tends to have slightly better availability during peak times. Download both apps before you arrive, so you're ready to go. Now, one more critical thing before you go. I mentioned this at the start, and I'm dead serious about this. There's a villa booking scam specifically targeting Australians right now that's cost people thousands of dollars. And Airbnb's refund policy won't protect you in many cases. Here's how it works in brief. Scammers are cloning real villa listings, using the same photos, similar descriptions, but with fake contact details. They'll ask you to pay outside the platform, bank transfer, Western Union, whatever, claiming it's for a direct booking discount. You pay, thinking you're getting a deal. You show up in Bali, and the villa either doesn't exist at that address or the real owner has no record of your booking. Your money's gone. I'm breaking down the full scam, exactly how to spot it, and how to protect yourself in my next video. It's detailed, it's important, and it could save you thousands. I'll pin the link in the comments the second it's live. Or hit subscribe so you don't miss it, because the last thing you want is to lose your entire accommodation deposit 2 weeks before your flight. If this video saved you from making a $3,000 mistake, smash that like button. Seriously, it helps other Australians find this information before they book. Drop a comment if you've got questions about other Bali areas. I'm covering Uluwatu next, whether it's worth the hype or if it's too far from everything. And then I'll do a deep dive on Ubud, for people who want the cultural side of Bali. If you've stayed in either Seminyak or Canggu recently, drop your experience in the comments. The good, the bad, the ugly. I want to hear it. It helps everyone make better decisions. This is the Tripzone channel, where I give you the real information about travel in Southeast Asia that the influencers won't tell you because they're getting paid to promote it. I'll see you in the next one. Safe travels.